So it is absolutely so surprising how the football world can change in a split seconds, because I know that during the ending of last season's transfer window, Manchester United went for Carlos Baleba from Brighton, and there was a buzz around the fan base about how he's going to be a good player for Manchester United, how he's going to transform us, because of course he's a young player, he's a strong athlete, he's a wonderful player, and of course Manchester United didn't get him, and you could see that the buzz around Carlos Baleba has died down. Manchester United don't longer have him up high in their list, but you could see that just weeks ago, David Austin actually mentioned Carlos Baleba as one of the midfielders in the short list of Manchester United. And about 2 weeks ago, Sully actually talked about Manchester United speaking to the representative of Carlos Baleba, and Fabrizio Romano also confirmed that Manchester United personal term for last year with Carlos Baleba is also still valid for this season. So it's why is Manchester United still interested in this guy? What is so special about him that Manchester United is still interested in? And is he a Casemiro replacement? So in today's video, we're going to be talking about basically the characteristics of Carlos Baleba and why Manchester United still has him high in their list. Because of course, I don't believe that Carlos Baleba of 2 seasons ago is no longer the player that we have seen, because of course he has dipped in performances. He has really dipped in performance. I think he didn't have any goal and assist last season. He didn't make any goal contribution. He's not the Carlos Baleba that we knew two seasons ago that Manchester United was interested in. But that doesn't mean that he's a bad player, and that doesn't mean that he's not the player that Amorim once wanted, that that was a power ball winner, that was a power ball carrier. Of course, we don't no longer play in the 4-3-3 system, so of course the priority in terms of our midfield, the kind of profile of midfielders we are going to need, is going to differ from the profile of midfield that we initially wanted during Amorim. We play in the 4-3-3 system now. Of course, we need a different profile of players when trying to consider midfielders. But one thing that has been very constant with this Carlos Baleba guy is that his ability has not changed, and we are going to talk about it in full in this video. So I want you guys to help me to like, to share, to subscribe to Trafford, and making more content that you love. So guys, I know I've already said this here before. I want you guys to help me to watch this video to the end. We are trying to get to 4,000 watch hours and try to get monetization here on YouTube. I want you guys to help me to achieve that. I want you guys to please help me to watch this video to the end. I will keep growing on YouTube. So one thing I'm going to tell you with Carlos Baleba is that if you get Carlos Baleba, you are going to be getting an absolute Casemiro replacement. Because if there is something I want Manchester United to address this summer, I feel we need to get a player that is like Casemiro in his prime. Not the Casemiro that played in Manchester United, but Casemiro in his prime. The Casemiro that was good in detecting the play, Casemiro that was good in high pressure, Casemiro that was good in constantly driving with the ball, constantly winning the ball back, constantly playing those long balls, and the Casemiro that is very good in area duels and in scoring goals. And with Carlos Baleba, you actually get that, because even if Manchester United have Bruno Fernandes, you have gotten in Edison, and also Matheus Fernandes also officially signs for Manchester United, Manchester United still needs that Casemiro replacement. Because of course, as far as I'm concerned, these players are not defensive midfielders. They are not natural defensive midfielders. So of course, we need at least one natural defensive midfielder that is going to really anchor for us. And if there is something Carlos Baleba is very good in, I feel that even if we end up getting all the players we get, they will not be as close as Carlos Baleba in terms of the first phase. Personally, for me, in my opinion, he's one of the best players in the Premier League in the first phase, because he's somebody that knows how to manipulate himself in tight spaces. In cases whereby Manchester United, of course, is being pressed man to man, he's this player that can be able to properly utilize his body, and that is going to follow with a thunderous run, because he's not just good in manipulating tight spaces, but he's good in driving so much. I think this is something that I like so much in his football. If he passes you as a player, you're never getting him. He's somebody that is so physical, that is so strong, and is somebody that can constantly manipulate himself in tight spaces. And this is what we need, because of course in the Premier League, many teams go man to man, and if many teams go man to man, you will need a player that is going to be very good in manipulating those tight spaces and drive very fast with the ball. And also another characteristics of Baleba we want to look at is his ball carrying ability, not his dribbling ability, because of course dribbling is different from ball carrying. His ball carrying ability is absolutely thunderous, because of course there are players that boycott actual ball carrying with long passes. Just like players like Matheus Fernandes, of course, they can drive with the ball, but they are very good more with the long passes. So instead of most of the time driving with the ball unnecessarily, they go with the long pass. But Baleba is somebody that can run past 3 to 4 players and they are not going to get the ball from him. He's somebody that is very good in ball driving, and is somebody that, of course, when giving the ball, he's going to have numerous touches, and then he's going to see if there is a space to attack, and he constantly attacks that space. And this is something that, if you have this profile of player at Manchester United, it is going to give us variety of options when we are playing, especially in the Champions League. Because of course, with Matheus Fernandes, Bruno Fernandes, Meno, Edison, you have players that can be technical, that can help in the overload and the underlap, that can help to play in tight spaces. But Carlos Baleba, you have somebody that can be physical, that can drive with the ball to his opponents very, very well. And this is something that, if you have in Manchester United, of course, we are going to be set in our midfield. So of course, if you're talking about replacing Casemiro, you have to talk about the aerial duels, and this is something that Carlos Baleba is very good in. I don't think that if you have a number 4 in your team, or if you're trying to buy a defensive midfielder for your team, I think you need a player that is going to be very good in aerial duels, and Carlos Baleba is very, very good in aerial duels. You could see last season he had an aerial duel percentage of 58%. That tells you that he is somebody that can be able to be dominant in terms of aerial duels, because I don't think Matheus Fernandes, Kobe Meno, and Edison is as good in aerial duels as Carlos Baleba. We need a player that can be able to be very good in aerial duels. In the situation whereby Carlos Baleba drops in between the central back, or in the situation whereby the opposition tries to go long and try to win those second balls, we are not going to be easily dominated in aerial duels, because of course we are going to have Carlos Baleba, we are going to have Harry Maguire, we are going to have Matheus that are also good in aerial duels. So with Carlos Baleba being very dominant in aerial duels, we are very secured in terms of not letting the opposition to bully us, and also in terms of corner kicks, he's somebody that can, if he undergoes a little bit of refinement, he can be able to score frequently from corner kicks. And also, if you're getting a defensive midfielder that wants to replace Casemiro, you need them to be very good in ball winning, and that is something that Carlos Baleba does so well. He's somebody that can be able to engage constantly in a man-to-man press, and then he's going to make that tackles, he's going to constantly make interception. He's somebody that can be able to win the ball for 90 minutes with high intensity, with high pace, and it's something that he can constantly do. I'm not just saying it because I'm analyzing Carlos Baleba. It's something that you can see in the screen right now. It is something that we have already seen in Brighton. It is something we have already seen in Cameroon. We have seen this thing constantly from Carlos Baleba. He knows how to tackle. He knows how to win the ball back. He's an engine. He's somebody that likes to constantly make those interceptions and tackle and win the ball back for the opposition. And of course, if he's somebody that you want to play as a deep line playmaker, to spot those passes in behind, to play those long passes from in behind, he's somebody that, of course, if he undergoes also a little bit of refinement, he's going to be one of the best passers from deep. He knows how to spot those runs in behind. He can be creative if you want him to be. He's somebody that is also a controller. He can be able to control the midfield, trying to make sure that Manchester United maximize our ability in possession. So of course, I know that many people are going to dispute me in this video. Many people are not going to be comfortable with signing Carlos Baleba, because of course there is also more exciting midfield talent in the market. But I feel that Carlos Baleba still got the ability to be a very good player for Manchester United. So I want you guys to like, to share, to subscribe to this video, to give me your thoughts on what you feel about Carlos Baleba. See you guys in my next video.